Hi, Salam Alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. The Messenger of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Sisters and brothers, this is also the fire zone. The fire zone, that's the audio aspect of this video. Anyway, brothers and sisters, we're going to talk about the righteous. You need to understand your creation, brothers and sisters, before you can be successful in it. And most of you have no idea. They give you all these false ideas about the creation, evolution, right? Religions, the Big Bang. All these are theories. And people operate on theories because your brain is going to use what information has to come with a conclusion. See, unless something's wrong with you, that's even cave yourself, your brain is mathematical. Maybe spatially mathematical or analytically mathematical, but it's still mathematical. Spatial is more complex, more comprehensive math. Analytical is linear math, but still mathematics. So you put the information in, it's going to take the information that it has, it's going to come up with the right answer based on information it has. So it's important that you get the correct information, the right facts. And religion does not do that. Because by definition, if all religions can't be correct. So if only one is correct, that means, and you say there's four major religions, that means 3/4 of the planet's insane. That means they're coming with the wrong conclusion because they're being inserted with the wrong facts. Now, you religious brothers and sisters out there, you spiritual ones, you political ones, you scientific, you logical, philosophical ones, you should be able to understand that. If they have the wrong facts, they'll come to the wrong conclusion because that's all they can do is to make a decision based on the facts they have. So you have to be careful about those facts. And religion does not apply any fact. Religion has no connection to reality, none whatsoever, because you don't see any Hindu bombs, Hindu planes, Buddhist power sources, right? Christian cars. None of them can produce anything. If they were true reality, then they would be able to produce tangible things if they are the true realities. The only true reality that can do that is mathematics. That's pure and simple. That shows they are false because you can't. Can you produce a Hindu energy power source that will power your car or a Hindu car? No, you can't bring anything into reality from any of those religions. So that means they're not reality at all. The only true reality is mathematics, and the people using mathematics are ruling the world with mathematics. They're not ruling with Christianity. They're not ruling with Buddhism. They're not ruling it with Sunnism. They're ruling it with mathematics. And all these other religions are crumbling in face of it. They fall, they crumble, they get crushed in face of mathematics. They're all being crushed by mathematics. Mathematics is the only true religion. Like I said, Allahu Akbar. Mathematics, Allah. Allah is the only true religion. Mathematics and Allah is the same thing. When you understand the nature of, when they talk about Allah, that's what they talk about. That's the only true religion. See? So you need to understand your religion to be successful. All right? Let me take that back. You need to understand your reality to be successful. So we're going to touch on that a little bit here. See? Before we go into that, I have to take and critique what happened yesterday, because that was a total mind fart. total washout. See, you had the demon master, chief demon, give 5 hours of saying absolutely nothing. Talking about himself, rambled, mumbled all over the place. And you came away knowing absolutely nothing. The only thing he did, commit himself to a degree or making a prophecy based on the information, what he getting from the news. See, he doesn't know what's going on. He has no idea of what's happening in the world. He has no idea. He talked 5 hours and only mentioned what's happening in the world for about 2 or 3 minutes. And he got that all wrong because he took the, he put his finger in the wind and tried to figure out which way is blowing and blowing, and then he come and tell you, like, watch the weather. He talked 5 hours and said absolutely nothing. It was pathetic. But he hasn't been saying anything at all for the last 40 years anyway. See, he has been surviving based on what he's been saying. He's been surviving based on his likability. See, it's the heart zone that's keeping him going, not the mind zone, because anybody in the mind zone would not spend 2 seconds with him at all, period. Because scripture, everything speaks against him. But he made one prophecy, so we see, because he stuck his foot up behind here, right? And this is going to come back to haunt him. See? Because he went out and says, well, there's a war event in Russia, and it's going to expand. It's going to expand. See? And it's going to be a world war. And when that happens, they're going to come and arrest him because, he's such a powerful figure, right? What do you need to arrest him for? He can't do anything. He's pissing his shit in the bag. They'd have virtually hold him up and walk him in and set him down. And they had some kind of brace in the back to keep him from falling off the chair that he sat on for 5 hours. You don't have to worry about going to the restroom because he shits and pisses in the bag. He's a pathetic figure. He's a pathetic figure. That's why he said nothing. That's supposed to be a swan song, his last speech ever, public speech. And that's all he talked about was nothing, mostly about himself, and all of it was lies, because I was present. All he told was lies. He and Wallace tore down Nation of Islam. FBI had nothing to do with it. They got rid of it. I'm not going into all those type of details. But all of it was just lies. See? He come out and admitted that he a philanderer. He's claimed he's for women so much, but he got all these wives. But he said that his wife didn't want the second wife, so he didn't care about what she wanted. But he cared about what women think. But he didn't care what his first wife said. But now he took the second one. See? And God punished his ass by ripping his balls out because he's a liar. But it's good for him to have all these wives, but not for anybody else. I'm not getting this personal, but I don't care about that. I'm just saying the hypocrisy of it. And he got punished for it. He got punished for that. Mostly he got punished for ripping off a nation. It says it in Malachi. He's robbed God. He's robbed the whole nation. Read that carefully. Who is robbing the whole nation? Who can possibly do it? You see? It ain't Elijah Muhammad. It's not Master Muhammad. It's him. He's been living off the Nation of Islam and black people for 42 years. He hasn't produced a damn thing, but he's living a luxurious lifestyle. But let's get back to this prophecy. Well, this war in Russia is going to expand. It's going to turn into a world war. And then they're going to come and arrest him, right? And first he says, well, they're going to crucify him. Then he says, well, they ain't going to do anything to him. And then he's going to go up yonder. Boy, believe me, you almost have to go and get, what do you call it, a defibrillator or whatever you call those things, right? Get your heart, you understand? Because, you're about to have a heart attack, man, laughing from this clown. He put on a clown show that, he exceeded himself because he's been a clown for the whole 42 years. He really exceeded himself yesterday. But he's wrong. See, because he thinks he looked and he had see the news and everything. And he thinks, no, this war will not expand. So now you got me saying it against what he's saying. This war will not expand. It's going to shut down soon, right? It's not going to expand and encompass all of Europe like he's saying. No. What's going to happen soon is war going to break out in the Middle East. That's what's going to happen. And the result of that war will be America and Britain kicked out, leaving false Israel isolated and under siege. And then America is going to blame Russia for its failure, its defeat in the Middle East. Because they're going to say, because they can't say that Iran defeat them. How can you say after Afghanistan, the sheep herders kicked their ass? They can't say Iran defeated them. They have to say it was Russia with Russia's help. And it's going to be it's more to it than that, but I'm not going into all the details. But it's going to say so that's how they're going to get in the war with Russia. Because as soon as they get kicked out, then they're going to get in a war with Russia. It's going to be a whole different situation. And that's going to be a war in Europe. That's the war in Europe Elijah Muhammad was talking about. They're going to go over to tens of thousands, comes back at tens. Because America going to get his ass kicked over there big time. And they're going to get a great betrayal. Because the EU and so-called NATO, which is supposed to be allied with America, is going to turn against America because they won't have any choice. They will have to go with Russia because Russia's the only one that's going to be the fuel their economy because they will no longer, Europe is totally dependent upon the Middle East and Russia for their fuel, for their energy supply. Totally. And chapter 18 reveals that, explains it. See? So, as a result of them assisting America in their war in the Middle East, right? Then when the Shia take control of the total in the Middle East, that's what's going to happen. Iran and Syria is going to have total control of the Middle East, total control of Arabia. They're going to defeat the House of Saud and all of them. They're going to have total control. That means total control of all the oil energy supplies coming out of the Middle East. That means Europe is cut off. Cut off. The economy is going to collapse. The only one that can assist them will be Russia. But America's at war with Russia. And America cannot supply them, especially since America's at war now. They're going to refuse to supply them because they can say we can eat energy for ourselves. So Europe will have no choice but to go along with Russia if they want to continue the economy and continue energy flow. And so America will be caught in a vice between Russia and East Europe and Western Europe. They're getting their ass kicked, but they're a great betrayal. See? And so and as a result, right, these are Europeans now. They're kicking each other's ass. That means they're diminishing their militaries because they're wiping out their militaries. They're wiping out their ships. They're wiping their soldiers, right? So they're becoming weak. And as they become weak, right, that means the Oriental and Asian countries, specifically China and India, they become stronger relatively. So if there's a power shift, they become the new superpowers while Europeans tearing themselves apart. And they just can't stop it. Because once it starts, they can't stop it. And they might see China and India become more powerful, but there's nothing they can do because they can't stop fighting each other. Because they can't resolve it. They can't gain peace amongst themselves. See, they fight to the bitter end. Understand? So then China and India, seeing their situation, right? See, it's their time to take advantage of it. So while America's preoccupied with that war, plus they're going to have preoccupied with great disasters and conflicts right here at home in America, right? China and India seeing that, they're going to come and they're going to take out Britain first, and then they're going to come, that's the goat in Daniel, coming across the sea, feet not touching land, that's across the Pacific Ocean, coming from the west, and they're going to hit America. So that goat could hit America, that ram with two horns, that's Gog and Magog, that's Britain and America. They're hit it so hard, they come in with anger. They said the goat's coming in anger. China's getting extremely more angry, and daily come more and more angry with America. So they said they come across in anger. and they're going to hit that ram so hard, knock them down, stamp them to the ground. That's America's future in 2022. This will happen in 2022. I don't know exact date, exact month, because only one knows that is Master Muhammad. But I'm absolutely positive this is the year that's going to happen, because we right here, everything else is in place. So this war will not. This thing going over in Ukraine and Russia, that's not going to lead to a war in Europe. See? So, Mr. Ishmael, when you be telling everybody if a prophet speaks and it doesn't come to pass, then that prophet did not speak from God. He's a liar, and you should not listen to him. So I want you to apply that when this thing fades out over in Europe with Russia and Ukraine. When it fades out and doesn't spread, it doesn't become a war because of that. I want you to supply it to your idol Farrakhan, because when that happens, you understand? Because when the war, true war breaks out in the Middle East, when a true one breaks out, what I'm telling you about, that's when he is going down. See, he's already been crucified. What you think disembowelment is? Ask any man. See? So he's going down, and all him and all his demons are going to be cast out. See? And the inner eye is going to be cleaned. That's what it said. The messenger of the covenant come with full of soap. You're going to clean that mess up and clean them demons out and force them to destruction. So I need to say that. But that was a pathetic show yesterday. It's pathetic. See? His so-called last speech, it was pathetic. You came out not knowing anything that you knew before, other than if you paid any attention at all, you finally realized that he's a pathetic figure and a liar. Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to get into the main issue here. The righteous. See? Now, like I said, this is also a fire zone. Because there's, see, stop the bullshit. We don't deal with the bullshit. See? Or we deal with it, get rid of it. But there's no bullshit zone. Stop the bullshit. Because they give you all this stuff. Like I said, they give you all this information that's wrong, and your brain tries to try to use that to try to make a decision, try to understand reality based on the information they give you, and it's all wrong. Just evolution, for instance. There's no such thing as evolution. See? I mean, the archaeological record is correct, and you would assume evolution, but the parts missing that they don't understand. And when they put those parts, then you understand that happened like that, but it didn't happen by itself. It was someone causing that. Well, I'm not going into details about that, brothers and sisters, right? But you have to understand. Well, maybe as we talk about this, maybe you'll get some ideas how that works. But the modern day people, they're using that. See, the devils and the people that's exploiting you and oppressing you. See, one of the principles that come out of that is survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest. Another principle comes out of that is the last is the best and the first is the worst. Now concentrate on those two principles right there. See, you logical brothers and sisters out there, you scientific brothers and sisters out there, just focus on that. If you dealing with mathematics and reason, first, right? The last is the best. That means now they can say, yeah, black people were first, just like apes was before them, and whatever was before them. See what I'm saying? Because the apes, the reason why the apes, because in the evolutionary process, they stopped evolving. So they still apes, because they saying we were all apes at one time. But some of us kept evolving, and apes didn't. So that means they're going to remain apes. They're never going to evolve anymore. They're not going to evolve. They didn't, so the evolution stopped for them. So they're going to be apes forever. You get where I'm going? So now we stop evolving. So we're going to be black and we're going to be niggas forever, because some of us evolved into white people. So they're still moving through evolution. They're still moving through time. But we frozen in time. Just like apes are frozen in time. Like the dogs and cows are frozen in time. So yeah, they can say, yeah, you was first. Just like there was an ape. They said, yeah, apes, you guys were first, but you're the worst. See, we evolved. We went past you. So you just an animal now. See, when you gotta understand what that means. If you're not evolving, you're an animal. They're not going to explain it to you like that. If you're not evolving, you're an animal. That's why I say we're three-fish human. That's where that's coming from, but they're not going to tell you like that. Because as far as they're concerned, you're an animal. Because you're not evolving anymore. And that's why they treat you like they treat you, because they can't want to, they tell you, because, you know, if a dog was intelligent, you definitely wouldn't tell that dog you was going to put him down. You tell him put him down, you know you don't understand what the hell you're talking about. So you got to be careful, you understand, how you relate information depending on the conscience of which who you relate the information to. So they can't come out and tell you that based on evolution, which they believe in as a religion, that you're an animal because you're not evolving anymore. Because if you was, you would be white like them. Because they evolved to be white. That's evolution. See? You need to understand your creation. You understand these religions and what the people are doing because you're not paying attention to stuff. But if they believe that, if you believe, then why they believe, then they're going to operate on that principle. This world is operating on that principle. Evolution is one of them. Do you understand? You need to wake up, brothers and sisters. What's the other principle? Survival of the fittest. See? That gets back to the first one. Because they were more fit than us. So they kept on evolving. And then, now they're... Let me back off on this. Let me put it another way. The fittest, they survive the fit. In other words, they're stronger so they can rule and control the other ones. See, so a lot of people, and some people stopped evolving and they lost the evolutionary process because the fittest kept evolving. And so they was able to control the other ones because you wasn't fit enough to evolve. So now they have control over you. Because what happened? If we was all apes one time, then why are you putting your great-great-grandmama and great-grandpapa in cages? That was your relatives. Those was your ancestors. And the same thing they have for us. They have us in a cage right now, but you know, but see, in other words, you put a cat in a cage, that's a whole different cage than you put an ape in. Because ape is more intelligent, so you have to have a more sophisticated cage than you put a cat in. So you had to put a more sophisticated cage that we would not be able to get out of, we wouldn't be able to understand. And we're in a cage right now. And it's going to be even more sophisticated as they move on. Because the further they move into evolution, time goes on, that means the further back we become, right? And the further the distance between us and them, right? So that means they have more disdain, more contempt for us. See, because we more, you know, we're animal. And they don't evolve far past us, so we become ever more irrelevant. And they prove that we're animal because they got us in the cage. They had us in slavery and we couldn't get out of it. Do you understand these things, brothers and sisters? You're animal from, that's their evolution. That's what they think. That's just one of them. See, if you go from the evolution scientific, then they got all the reason for you to see what's happening to you right now. Let's deal with you religious brothers and sisters. See, they got you on that one too. So if they can't get you on the scientific one, they got you on the religious one. See, they got you on all these different religions, all these different philosophies, but it all comes down to destroying you. So let's go with the religious thing. Because this whole world is supposed to be as a result of Noah's flood. But how did that start out? After the flood, right away, his son Seth, right, is corrupt, is immoral. He does some despicable thing. So he gets cursed black and cursed to be slaves forever. All the sinners will be the slave forever. They call Ham. That's you. There you go. It's right in their Bible, and they believe it. They was teaching it, before when you couldn't read and write. See, they was teaching that in their churches, but now you can read and write and stuff. So they don't talk about it like that. They just talk about Ham, but they don't say Ham is you. But that's what they believe. So that means enslaving you was the proper thing to do because God said it. You're cursed. You're immoral. You're indecent. That's where they portray you in the movies. So you deserve to be slaves because you're immoral people. Your great great ancestor said, he was immoral. So now you got you like him, and plus you curse black. Brothers and sisters, I just talked about two different. We can go on and on and on. See, the religion, the science, the philosophy, all of it. Sociology, all of it. See, economics, all of it. See, they portray us as lazy, that we can't do anything. So we lazy. We deserve to have nothing because we too lazy to do anything. See. All these different things. See, I'm not going to all anymore. I'm just explaining to you. See, when you deal with these religions, you're Christian. You telling when you're a Christian, you don't understand the underlying concept behind that. The fact that you're Ham and you know damn good and you're supposed to be a slave. But I'm a Christian. You don't understand what that means. Or I believe in evolution. You don't understand what that means. You got these dumb Negroes talking, I believe in evolution. And you don't understand what they laugh behind your back. That's probably why so many white folks have coronaries laughing at your dumb ass. Every time I'm a Christian, they laugh behind your back. Because that means you agree that you're a Ham and you deserve to be a slave. Sunnism got its problems too. See? Because they're stealing your inheritance. See, you don't understand. See? So, that's the, see, but you need to understand the nature of things. So we're going to go into a little bit about that so you maybe you'll understand on some things. See, you have to understand the nature of the creation, understand the nature of true reality, so you can be successful. Because we told the righteous are successful, but the disbelievers are not successful. So what do they mean by that? See, it's not philosophy, it's mathematics. So I'm going to touch on a few things briefly here. First, we talk about the universe opening and closing. The Quran tells you that. The Quran is a scientific book, but you don't understand it. So, simple thing to understand is if Earth and heavens were one initially, the cave called the so-called Big Bang, right? That means all that energy out there, the constellations, the galaxies and stars and everything, used to be the atmosphere of the Earth. That was energy before we converted into stars and galaxies and things. It was just energy, the atmosphere of the Earth. There's like oxygen and so energy was here. That means we were here then. We weren't dinosaurs and stuff. See, we the source. We the source of everything. It says all life came from us. I need to hit on that a little bit. See, the thing is, as the universe expands, that's a little bit of tension. Now you put a rubber band, that's a little bit of tension. See, and the tension stays until the rubber band breaks. It separates, right? And then it starts tension. If you keep pulling, tension builds up again. So when the tension is small, right, then we separate the most simplest attribute from ourselves. That's microbes and viruses and things like that. See, as tension gets greater, it breaks and then the universe keeps expanding, tension builds up again, right? More complex things like plant life and so forth. Later on, more like animals, so forth, until when you get the full extent, you pull out something out of yourself that's almost like yourself. That's how much tension it is, because it almost breaks in half. So that's why we bring into the Caucasians, the cavies. See, that's how evolution works. So if you go back and look at the archaeological records, you see what? You see the first life was viruses and things. Then see the next, right, was plant life. Same, what they say is that, I said archaeological record is correct, but the interpretation of it is wrong. Because all came from us. The Quran said all came from us. So the simplest until the most complex, until eventually we made Adam, who is a mankind. That's why I call him mankind. He's like us. See, that's the most complex. They said we bring out a beast that will speak to us. But when the universe starts contracting again, the first to go, the first to be crushed, would be the last one to come into existence. That means KV. They're going to be the first ones to go. Okay, I had to hit on that because I couldn't leave it. I've talked about that in previous presentations. So that's the true reality of evolution. Okay. So we understand opening and closing. So energy comes back. Energy is coming back now. It started, the first positive energy wave we got was like 1880s. Around that time when so-called Civil War, we broke our physical changes. Every 50 years, Quran says it comes every 50 years. Every 50 years, we get an energy wave as a result of energy coming back to Earth. It comes back in waves because the universe is contracting now. Before, energy was going out. So now we're being energized. So we need to understand that. Okay. So I'm going to, jump to something else. It's connections. I'm not going. In other words, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go A, B, C, D, E. I'm going to go to A all the way to. I'm going to jump to T, right? Because I've spoke on these things before in the past, so I'm not going to go through all that all over again. So the universe is constantly changing because it's expanding or contracting. In this case, now it's contracting, so it's constantly changing. See, but it's up to us as the creators to determine how that change occurs, the form of that transformation, because we transform energy from one form to another. That's what time is. Looking at your watch and that kind of stuff, that's a measurement, but it's not time. If nothing is changed, there's no time. If everything stands still, there's no time. But the universe is contracting, so we take that energy from the energy that's receiving, and we take and give it another form. We transfer energy from one form to another. That's how we move forward into time. See? And we do it in case they sync. You see, keep ourselves in sync, right, with the universal change. So you need to stay in sync. If you want to be successful, you need to be in sync with the universal change. But who is the leader of that change, right? Who makes the determination what that change is? That's the God of that particular time. This particular time in our history, Master Prophet Muhammad is the God. He's a made God, but he's still the God. And he is the one that's setting the pace because he's the one that's transforming energy from one form to another. So he's moved forward into time. See? So you get so much energy. Now it's up to you how you want to apply that energy. Everyone gets the same amount of energy, period. You're going to come to understand that at some point. You think, well, he's a being, he got more. No, everybody has the same amount of energy. And if you understand that principle right there, that's going to make you extremely wise. If you understand that basic principle right there, that everybody has the same amount of energy, that means you can scope between, between the lines when you think somebody have more, because you don't see what's happening in the background. There's something in the background that's neutralizing that. There's something in the background neutralizing. So it was, oh man, I got $10,000. Everybody got $10,000. That guy got $100,000. See, but you don't know he's got $90,000 in the background that's neutralizing all. He got $9,000 with headaches that you don't have. See, he got $9,000 worth of bad luck, negative energy that you don't know about, that he's hiding from you. But once you understand everybody has the same amount, then you know he has it. You may not be able to identify what it is, but you know he has it. So he has no more than you have. You understand that? So you receive your energy because it says momentous in the heavens and earth, but it come of a sudden. So it's absorbed by the earth. The earth has to convert into a form that we can use. And it does it at a certain pace, a certain frequency. So it doesn't convert all the energy at once. It converts, we get so much as it's a conversion process. So we get so much every day because our life cycle is daily. See, we renew ourselves every 24 hours. That's why we're sleeping now, because we don't have enough energy to renew ourselves for the whole 24 hours. So we got enough energy to renew ourselves for 16 hours. So that means we have to sleep for the other 8. But as soon as we get home to the promised land, we'll have enough energy to go the whole 24 hours. That means we won't have to sleep anymore. Master Muhammad doesn't have to do it right now because he's got a KV body and he has discipline, so he doesn't suffer energy deprivation. So he disciplines energy, so he have enough to maintain a whole 24 hours. It takes a lot of discipline. Okay? Even with that discipline, we still couldn't do it because we like Lamborghinis. We need so much energy to maintain ourselves, and we're not getting enough. But right now, we had just enough energy to maintain ourselves. But the demons, their idea is to make you misuse your energy, so you don't take care of yourself, so you misuse it with Jay-Z, smoking coke, smoking dope, hanging out, partying. See, so therefore now you're suffering all kinds of ailments and problems, right? Physical problems, whatever, because you're not using energy to keep yourself, to maintain yourself. See? So once you understand that concept, right, and you understand the universe is changing, and there's always a God that's on the scene to lead the way, to keep you in sync with the universe, right? Well, that means you have to use all your energy to do that. If you're not using that, means you're not staying in sync. That means you're not successful. Because the God's moving through time, and the righteous are those that's keeping pace and that's moving in time with him, because you stay in sync with time. Now you got the time anchors, they're sitting right with it. They're trying to hold up time. They're trying to keep time from converting, because they're trying to stay right back in the past like the Sunnis. They want to try to reestablish my Prophet Muhammad's empire. So that means they're the unrighteous, and now that they're not successful because they're using energy not to move, keep in space with time. You change the time. They're trying to hold time back. That takes ever more and more energy to do that. So they become ever and ever weaker and weaker and weaker. Sunnism is on there right now. Sunnism is on there, right, on their back. Because they're misusing their energy trying to hold time back. And time is moving. And the God keeps up with it and keeps up to sync with it. But he's converting energy from one form to another. That's moving forward in time. And he's the one that tells, he's the one that's going, that's the one you have to keep up with, because he keeps you in sync with the universe. See, just moving forward in time don't mean that you're in sync with the universe. That means you just convert energy from one form to another. Because even the disbelievers do that, right? Because they're taking the energy and convert it to bullshit, but they're still doing that. But the time they're moving in is a time to destruction, because they're not moving forward in a time in a positive way. So therefore, they become ever weak because they use so much. It takes so much energy to try to maintain things go away when the universe is moving on. And so you ever more out of sync. That means you're ever more weak, because you apply energy to try to maintain a universe in a state that you lack it, and the universe is not going to stay there. So it's get harder and harder to do it, and you get further lost, further back in time. That's the disbelievers. The righteous are the ones that use their energy to keep up, moving forward, and stay in sync in time. So therefore, the efficient use of their energy. There's efficient energy universe, efficient use of their energy, so they're successful. And they keep up with the God. That's what makes you righteous. I told you don't get in heaven because you treat people right. That's good to do that. It's efficient. But that's why it says you have to be in sync with the will of Allah, period, to be successful. And you have to understand who Allah is, right? You have to understand who the God on the scene, right, that represents that. And then you have to stay up with it and sync with it. So all these people, oh, I'm hanging with the message of black. We keep hanging with that. Hang with that. Because you're going to be hung with it. See, because you're trying to hold your time anchor. You're trying to keep, hold on to the past. That's why they give you scriptures. See, what happened to the old script? There have been trees and trees of scripts. I mean, if they do it every 25,000 years, how many 25,000 years has it been in 76 trillion years? How many? So what having all those books? They're irrelevant now. Just like the Quran is irrelevant now. The Quran is a science book. You can use it. You can use all those books from science, but they're irrelevant now because they don't give you the guidance you need for now. They do have scientific information in the Quran, a lot of it, but it doesn't give you the guidance for what you need now. It gave the guidance for Prophet Muhammad for 1,000 years. That's what it says in chapter 20, that they will rule for 1,000 years, right? And their primary, the purpose of them, right, is to keep the Europeans bottled up in the Dark Ages for 1,000 years. That's chapter 20 of the Revelations. But now, that mission has been accomplished. That was the purpose of the Quran. Now it's time to move on to the next revelation. And what happened was the Europeans revived, right, the Bible, because they had compromised it after Jesus left, because they came with Catholicism, which was a compromised version of what Jesus taught. It had mixed Romanism, right, with the Bible. So you had a pope, you had idols, and all that stuff. See? So what happened is that when they came out, they broke away from the church because Protestants. Martin Luther was one that, led the way, right? That's where Lutherans came from, right? And then they took and looked into reality and started following reality, mathematics, and the rest is history. They're kicking the world's ass with mathematics. It's a weak form of mathematics, but it's strong enough to whoop everybody else don't have any mathematics at all. See? Because none of these religions based on mathematics is not based on facts. It's not based on reality. None of them. None of them will hold up against mathematics. None of them will hold up against reason. Not any of them. So mathematics is wiping them out. You understand, brothers and sisters? You have to know how I gave you basically how the creation works. I gave you the basics of it. If you just follow that within itself, right? That will expand your mind dramatically and free you. So you understand how your creation works, how you fit in it. I'll just give you a lot of information just now. See? That's what makes you righteous. You got to keep up with the change. And like I said, it's the God that sets the pace, because he's changing energy from one form to another, right? In the sense of keeping it in sync with the universe, the ever-changing universe. So he's successful by definition, and all those with him that keep pace him, they're successful also. But if you're trying to hold back, right, the universe, the transitioning universe, you can't do that. But that's what time makers are trying to do. So you spend all your energy, and it's not enough energy in the universe to allow you to do that. So once you start doing that, you start being immediately unsuccessful, because you're using energy to make something happen that can't happen, and you keep on trying to spend all the energy trying to do it. See? So after a while, you have no energy left, and you're crushed by it, because you'll not be successful with it, because you're trying to hold. As soon as they're trying to hold back the span of the universe, they're trying to keep it back to 1,400 years ago. You can't hold time back. And the God is moving more, and they're getting further away from the God as the God is moving further and further in time, keeping us sync with time. And that's the purpose of high priest, right? To communicate that to you. And so he's God. He's out there taking care of his business. The high priest has to stay here and with you, and he's like a coach to keep you. And so he's visible to you, so you can keep, because God may not be visible to you. Now that he's invisible, he may just not be visible, because he's out taking care of business. Like Master Muhammad, he's taking care of business. But the high priest has to be in your presence, right? To show you what you need to do to keep pace with the God. That's the purpose of the high priest. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope I illuminate you. See? So you need to understand these things. If you want to be successful, you got to find, first it has to be mathematics. Like I said, you have to find the right information to come into your brain, right? So you come to the right decision. I'm giving you the correct way the universe works. Now, if you want to go with evolution, you want to go with religion, all that kind of stuff, okay, go with that. That means you're going to make decisions that's totally awkward, totally irrelevant, right? Totally disastrous, because they're not reality. They'll keep you in sync with reality. So if you want to follow, because you need to go back and check this information that you're taking in. You need to go back and verify. That's why, what did Paul say? Prove all things. Prove all things. Have you tried to prove any of this stuff? Have you tried to prove Christianity? Have you tried to prove Buddhism? Have you tried? No, you haven't tried. You accepted it. And so your reality is based on that. The way you act, everything you do, right, is based on those ideas. And yours, you went to college and everything. Yours is based on probably some evolution, all these different types of things. And you don't understand what they really trying to tell you. And so you're making bad decisions because you're getting bad information. I'm giving you, I said, there's no bull. Stop the bullshit. This is no bullshit zone. Everything I said, you can check and verify. And plus, it's just logically correct. It just makes sense. It's like this thing about demons. And let me say that and then close. Now, it's obvious that the sperm is alive. I mean, is there any question about that? But the egg does not move. It's not alive. It's just living material that the sperm goes in and uses in its development of itself. There's no God anything in there. It got DNA. God didn't help it swim to the egg, find the egg. God didn't have a traffic cop down and say, man, that's the way. I'm going to choose you. See, that's Frau kind of telling you, well, there's some God doing all this. They got microscopes. You looking at, you don't see no God waving back up at you. No, you in there, you got DNA. That's your code. You're the engineer. See, DNA is the architect. Architectural, that's the blueprint. And you're the engineer. You take that blueprint and you start developing yourself and using the information that you're getting, right, from the egg. The egg gives you information, right, primarily about what you're going to expect when you get outside the womb. So you know how, in what direction you should be developing yourself. That's one of the reasons for the egg. Plus, it also gives you nutrients and also gives you, right, a selection of things you can use. In other words, if you got any deficiencies in yourself, you got deficient genes, and they got a more powerful gene, then you can replace it, take that gene and replace it for that defective one you got. But it's not going to change your nature. It just either make you better or worse, but it will not change your nature. That's an absolute fact. Now let somebody argue with me about that, prove otherwise. So, one of the worst things that happened to us is this demon plague that started 600 years ago. The devils raped our women and produced their seed, sheep, wolves in sheep clothing, the chaff that was sort of amongst the seed, and now they walk around invisible to us, right? Incognito, chameleons, right? Because they look like us, talk like us, walk like us, but they don't think like us. And when you listen closely, they love Master. Oh, Master is great. You know, love the flag. Let's, because they are Master. They're Master's children. They're not us. They're not us. And you better get up on that, brothers and sisters, because that's why, because that knowledge itself has been hidden from you, and no one came and told you what a demon was, explained to you before I did. You didn't even know you was plagued by demons. Read Mark. Some of you sleeping with them, don't even know it. See? You're working with them. They're all around you. But you don't know it because you don't oh man, you're trying to diss the brothers. Hey, it's not based on skin folk. It's not based on skin tone. It's based on nature. That's why I say wolves in sheep clothing. It's based on nature, not skin tone. The reader tell you skin tone, right? Because they want to be able to keep these demons amongst you, undetected, destroying you just like cancer does to a body. The body is round, the cancer covers itself, right, with healthy cover cells, DNA, so the antibody can't recognize it as a bad cell. It thinks it's a good cell because it coats outside with positive DNA of the being. So they get away with it, so they can go and just keep on destroying other cells. That's the same thing the way these demons work. See? Because they look like us, you can't distinguish. So he's just another brother. But look how they act. Look at Chicago. You think those demons doing that, killing all that kind of stuff? No, those are. You think they think original people? That's demons doing that stuff. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. You better get up on this demon thing, because Suleiman is about to take demons. They said he would consume them with the mouth, with the spirit of his mouth, and destroy them as back to his coming. That's why he comes full of soap, because he's going to wipe all these demons out. He's going to break that demon plague. Read chapter 12. See? He's going to break that human. Read Mark. See? He's going to break them demons because they got a hold on us. It says half of the black population in America, that's 17 million, are demons. And they're successful because in this reality, they're successful as their daddies are because they're part of this reality. They're part of this world, like the Quran says. If you're of this world, the world will love you. They call them the flesh. They call us the spirit. They say the world would hate us. That's why we're not so successful here, right? But we're successful in going to the hereafter because those of us are righteous, see, we may be here, but we're working to get out of here, right? To be in sync with the God. See, we invested in the God. We invested in that time flow. See, so they say, oh, they crazy, look at them. See? So we're the righteous. So eventually, you will see it, for I will take this place down, and because you was investing in that, then you'll be survive, and you move on, keep moving through time with thrive. Those that's not moving through time, right? Then remember, you convert energy from one form to another. So when you have a house and you want to rebuild another house, you have to demolish the old house. So you demolish the old house and you build a new one. But you might take all the fabric and everything from the old house, use that to build a new one. So you can't just create, and you can't create energy. So what happens is we're going to take the energy from this reality and convert it to the energy for our reality. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. Fire zone out. Yeah, brothers, is just closing down the audio side of this. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. The righteousness, like with righteousness. If you understand righteousness, you got to keep up with the God. You got to be in total submission to the will of Allah, and the will of Allah is manifest in Master Prophet Muhammad because he's the Allah for this period of time. It ain't like Allah is in him. He is the Allah. We are Allah. It ain't like some spirit or something in us. He's the God for this time. See? And Suleiman is the high priest, right? That guides you, that shows you how to keep pace with him. So you move forward in time, and what direction? Moving in the right direction, move towards the promised land. See, other people may be moving forward in time, but they're in the wrong direction. Because they convert energy from one form to another, but in the wrong direction. So in other words, like you go 100 miles an hour down the freeway, right, in the wrong direction, you're going to crash into somebody. See, we're going in the right direction. And that's why Muhammad leads in the right direction. So you go the wrong direction, that means then you get destroyed. When this reality is destroyed, there's only going to be one reality. I mean, we have all these different realities, these false realities, Christianity, Buddhism, all that kind of stuff. Be one reality. And either you're with us or against us. So when this reality is converted unto a new reality, if you're not with that, then you're going to be converted too. That means you're going to be, your life will be used, the energy that you have, will be used to form our own reality. That means you lost. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. You don't create energy. There's a certain amount of energy in the universe, and that's it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.